This is a lecture from OpenTuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
Now, because it's the first in the series of lectures, two things. One is make sure you've watched my introductory lecture, going through an outline of the syllabus, the style of the exam, and how to go about using OpenTuition. And also make sure you've downloaded the free lecture notes, because you'll see as I go through each of the chapters, I'll work through the examples and I'll explain and expand on the lecture notes, so you really do need them in front of you. Okay, well, I hope you have got them. And the first chapter, as it says, is activity-based costing. And the first page, well, you see, this also is going to happen a lot as we go through the later chapters. The first page does explain briefly how we go about doing activity-based costing and what it is. But to read that to you word for word would be stupid. I'm going to explain by way of example. So if you turn to the second page, there's an example there, example 1. I'll use this to explain what we're doing and how we do it. And then when you have finished the whole lecture, go back and read the first page yourself and check it agrees with what you thought I said. So let's have a look at example 1. Una manufactures 3 products, A, B and C. Data for the period just ended is as follows. We've got various information there which we'll look at in detail when we need it. But the number of units produced of each product, the selling price, the material cost, the labour hours. And then mentioned below something about overheads. You can see a list of 4 there and a total of 190,000. And then something I've got to explain later, obviously, this cost driver data. However, what does the question ask? Part A says calculate the cost and hence profit per unit, absorbing all the overheads on the basis of labour hours. Now let me explain what it is we're trying to do. And this part A, in fact, isn't activity-based costing at all. We'll come on to that in part B. But part A, given that information, the question, we want to work out a cost per unit for each of the 3 products, A, B and C. And if we know the cost per unit, then obviously we can work out, knowing the selling price, we can work out what the profit per unit is, no problem. Now, as I say, this isn't part A, this isn't activity-based costing. It's actually a revision of paper F2, or whatever exempted you from it. But let me show you what I mean. We want the cost per unit, so let's set up cost cards. 3 products, A, B and C. And what information are we given? Well, in that table at the top, we know what the material cost per unit is. That's easy. The materials, 5 for A, 10 for B, 10 for C. In addition, there's labour. They told us the hours per unit, but below we're told it's $5 per hour. So for A, 2 hours at $5 is 10. For B and C, 1 hour at $5 is 5. So far, nice and easy. But if we want the full cost per unit, we also need to bring in overheads. And how are we going to decide on the overheads per unit? We know what the total overheads are. For the minute, forget that breakdown. I'll explain the relevance later. But it says the overheads for the period in total are 190,000. But we want to absorb it. We want to charge it to the units. How much per unit of A, how much for B, how much for C? And the question says, if you look back at part A, calculate the cost per unit, absorbing all the overheads on the basis of labour hours. Well, as I say, this should be a revision of paper F2, I've left a bit of space here that I can do workings. What we're going to do is follow the instructions. We're going to work out what the overheads are effectively costing us per hour. And if we know the overhead cost per hour, then we can get a cost per unit. So, what do we know? We know what the total overheads are, obviously, 190,000. If I want to know a cost per hour, we need to know the total hours we're going to work. And how many hours are we going to work? Well, we're making 3 products. So product A, we're making 20,000 units. Each one takes 2 hours. And so a total of 40,000 hours making A. In a similar way, B, we're making 25,000 units. Each one takes 1 hour. So 25,000 hours. And finally, C, 2,000 units. At 1 hour, 2,000. And so, in total, we're working 67,500. How on earth have I got that? Sorry, 67,000 hours. And so now we say, well, what's the cost per hour? So the cost per hour, or the overhead absorption rate, $190,000. The total overheads divided by 67,000, the total hours. And if I can find my calculator, that comes to $2.84 per hour. When you're doing unit costs, don't worry too much about rounding, but normally the unit costs go to the nearest cent. However, having worked out that the overheads are costing us $2.84 an hour, now we can finish off the cost cards. And at $2.84 per hour, well, product A takes 2 hours a unit. At $2.84 is a total of $5.68. Products B and C only take 1 hour, so $2.84 is $2.84 a unit. And now we've got it. The total cost $20.68, $17.84, and again $17.84. Obviously in the exam only do what's required. If you don't want it to cost, there we are. Here it does also say what is the profit per unit. Well, we know what the selling price is. In each case it's 20. And therefore the profit per unit, A is actually making a loss of 68 cents per unit, whereas B and C are both making a profit of, what does it come to, $2.16. And there we are. So I don't think that's terribly difficult. As I said, well, it should actually be very easy because it is paper F2, part A. As I said, you maybe just have to work out the cost. Obviously, you may use the cost to calculate a selling price, add on a percentage or something. We'll talk about what's about pricing in a later lecture. But here, we know the profitability of each unit. And of course, it does seem that A is a problem. B and C, fine, are making profits. A appears to be loss-making. And so maybe we need to examine A. Maybe we should try and put the price up or cut costs or even perhaps consider not making A at all. But again, A does appear to be the problem. Now, that's what you might call the traditional way of costing. Again, that's what we did in paper F2. But although we've absorbed the overheads, we've taken no account of what the overheads actually relate to. If you look back at the question, overheads are 190,000, true, but some of them are relating to setting up the machines, some of them are related to receiving materials, some of them to dispatching, to delivering, and some of them for machining. There are different types of overheads that are involved. And so what we're going to do for part B, which is the more important bit, we're going to absorb these overheads, certainly, but we're going to do it in perhaps a better way by, instead of just taking total overheads divided by hours, which is just a bit of arithmetic, we're going to look at each bit of the overhead separately and decide what the most sensible way would be of absorbing them. So think about what I've just said. Check you are happy with the part A, traditional absorption costing. But we'll have a quick break, but in the next lecture, I'll do the same example all over again, but we'll use activity-based costing.